Evening, humans. What I've got up on the bench today is the Stihl MS 193T. This is a climbing top handle saw from Stihl. This is kind of their in-between, bigger than the 150, smaller than the 201. Specifications on this guy: this is a 30.1 cc engine, puts out 1.74 horsepower, weighs 7.28 pounds. That gives us a power weight ratio of 0.239 horsepower per pound, which isn't that great. Let's take a closer look. All right, starting in the back and work our way around. We've got high adjustment here, low, and idle down here for the carb. Got exhaust port down here. Plastic side cover, side tensioner, one side bolt on the cover. This will take a 14-inch bar, and this is a 14 on here. This is a 3/8 Pico chain. You've got plastic dogs molded into the case. I do not like that. Honestly, I don't even really consider them dogs. I really just consider them wear protection for the oil and fuel tank, so you're not rupturing. You're not really going to be gripping much with this, especially if you're in like a sycamore or something slick with out rough bark. Quite a bit of deviation from the design of their other top handles. You've got bar and chain oil down here and fuel up here. Clearly, 193T, standard non-easy start. The 192 came with the optional easy start. This one does not. Do have a primer bulb. I'm not a fan of primer bulbs, as I've mentioned in previous videos. I feel it's just something to dry out later on. I'd rather just give it an extra pull or two than have a primer bulb on here. You have your choke located right here. So that's run, that's choke. And then on their switch, middle is run, forward is off. And then back, where normally is choke on their other saws, that is the partial choke, and your full choke goes here. So to start, give it a few pulls in this setting till it sputters, switch your choke off, leave it in partial, and that's when it'll actually start. Toolless access to the air filter. Flocked fleece air filter. And carb underneath that cover. Pretty standard. Also different, you have your spark plug located center line. On this, on the 201s, it's over here. Got AV mounts, fuel. Do have a D-ring attachment for attaching into your harness. The saw does not have an adjustable oiler, so it's a constant oiler. For AV, you've got the same setup as the 201T. Rubber grommet in the back. I got spring connections in the front. Got good AV mount in there. Dampens the vibrations really well. That is a plus for the saw. And 2-post chain brake, of course. Molded into the side cover. Chain catcher, in case you throw a chain. Let's go ahead and take the side panel off. Take a look at the guts. I did cut with it earlier, so it was a little bit dusty. Do have an outboard clutch, so your sprocket is on the inside of your clutch, so when you need to change it out, you do need to take your clutch off. That's all polymer. You do not have a metal wear plate in there. You do have little plastic wear pads that are pretty common in their saws, but usually you're going to see a metal plate in there as well. Another con against it. Alright, you can see the cylinder back in there. Of course, the exhaust right here. You have your spark arrestor screen right here. Clearly see the AV mount, very similar to the 201. All the rewind cover screws are coarse thread, so that means they're not threading into anything magnesium, which would be machine thread. Standard rewind, and the special. In the guts here, got your ignition coil, your flywheel, kill, spark plug wire. Yep, all pretty standard. Nothing deviating from the norm, really. 2-pole ignition, so you don't have that third pole on there, the limiter. Alright, let's put it in some wood and see how it does. Alright, here we are in the shop with the MS 193T. I just made a cut to make sure it's already up to operating temperature. See how it does. Okay, so that's how it cuts. Final words or thoughts from myself. I'm not really a fan. I don't like the 193T. And the reason that I don't like it is because it's one of those products that's good enough. You know, it's not tailored for any specific job, but it can do both okay. You know, it's got enough power to do some larger limbs, and it's light enough to hang light on your saddle if you're going through a tree deadwooding or just doing some light pruning. But if you're wanting something with some power, the 201's much better, or if you're wanting something for pruning, the 150 is much better. It just comes at a really low price point, and that's one of the reasons I feel that it's so popular. But I don't really like it. You know, if you need something light, get a 150. If you need something powerful, get a 201. One of the things that really turns me off is the lack of bumper spikes. They do have holes. I'm inclined to believe that you can add some dogs if you want, which I would absolutely recommend as soon as you buy this thing, because those plastic dogs on there aren't going to dig into anything. You know, especially being a climber, there are situations where the speed of your cut is going to affect the fall of the branch or limb or stem. So having the ability to make that cut quickly can make a large difference in where that limb's going to go. And with this saw, you're not going to be able to make that cut as quickly as you would with a 201 per se. There you go. Have a good one, humans.